Volex has been picked by Tesla to supply US charging networks. Volex says they are stocked and ready to immediately supply automotive original equipment manufacturers and charging infrastructure suppliers, the company said on Wednesday. So Volex will continue to supply Tesla with parts it needs to build superchargers. Take a look at this video. As Sawyer Merritt says, Teslas on Teslas on Teslas. And this video is about 30 seconds long. And as far as you can see, Teslas everywhere. Standard & Poor's is dropping ESG scores from debt ratings amid scrutiny. ESG stands for environmental, social, and government. A lot of people have criticized ESG ratings because they are simply not accurate. Tesla has an ESG risk rating of 25.2, it's medium. Toyota has a ESG risk rating of 29.4. They are ranked 77 out of 90, and Tesla is ranked 45 out of 90. You're telling me right now Toyota should have a higher ESG score than Tesla? Well, that's a problem. But the fact that Standard & Poor's is no longer using this in the way that they rate bonds, essentially, debt, right? That's important because Tesla, one of the reasons they had such a hard time getting to an A rating in their bonds was their ESG score was so low. That it makes the difference on what you will have to pay on your interest rates when you do need to go to the bond market and raise capital. So this is a positive for Tesla shareholders. Piedmont's lithium plans to supply Tesla faces skeptical North Carolina officials. This lithium mine is expected to be just one of a handful of mines in the US. There's not that many lithium mines in the US, but there's a lot of lithium out there. And the county that is just east of Charlotte, North Carolina, has 230,000 residents, and they don't want this mine. Now, this mine has actually been trying to get approval to mine for the last 2 years. Piedmont first signed a deal to supply lithium to Tesla in 2021 from North Carolina. The deal was paused before being renegotiated in January after Piedmont found a temporary source of the metal from a Quebec lithium mine in which it has an investment. Piedmont will need the board to approve a zoning variance before it can build the project, which would include an open-air pit more than 500 feet deep and production facilities. Piedmont officials said they were open to financially assisting homeowners not able to sell their land because of the mine project, and the company would aim to not discharge processed water into local waterways. That's the main argument, is wells drying up from all the water that would need to be used for this lithium mine, and contamination. Multiple residents spoke against the proposed mine, none spoke for it. Elon Musk is still mulling a massive Tesla plant in Indonesia. This would be an investment of at least $1 billion. This comes after Elon Musk is using Malaysia as the Southeast Asian base for Tesla. They kind of stiffed Indonesia after kind of hinting that they were going to go with Indonesia. Now, this says after a low-key 2.5-hour August 3rd meeting in San Francisco, which went on twice as long as expected, the multi-billionaire car maker is said to have agreed to make a final decision on building a manufacturing plant by the end of the year in Indonesia. So I'm actually not a fan of Tesla building a manufacturing plant in Indonesia. I would much rather see Tesla build a plant in India before they did so in Indonesia for obvious reasons, which is population, infrastructure, household income. Everything's better in India. So That's what I would like to see. We'll see what ultimately happens. We'll know something by the end of this year. Another Cybertruck is spotted in Palo Alto again. I believe this is the same route that we previously seen the same truck doing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when we turn this corner here in this video, it looks like the same video that we seen just a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of familiarity here. I could be wrong there. This looks like the same camo-wrapped Cybertruck, potentially even testing something like full self-driving. That honestly wouldn't surprise me, given we're kind of seeing the same thing with this particular Cybertruck over and over again, almost every couple of days getting a new video. So I think that's pretty exciting. Should be a good sign that we're getting close to some deliveries. In other news, Tesla is offering free supercharging to sell more used EV stock in Australia. And Tesla appears to be offering 5,000 kilometers of free supercharging upon taking delivery of a used Tesla from Tesla in this third quarter. So trying to boost some sales potentially. I think this is great. Much better than actually cutting prices. And the fact that they are doing this instead of cutting prices looks like good demand overall, right? If Tesla needed to, they would just cut prices. To do other incentives makes a lot of sense to me, and I look at this as encouraging. According to Bloomberg, car makers are playing catch up with Tesla on air filtration. I think this is also pretty interesting. This article, just to summarize it, goes on to say consumers are becoming more focused on air quality. A lot of it started during COVID. That's pretty obvious. But now even the wildfire smoke. People want to know they're breathing high quality oxygen. Well, Tesla is the king of this. Tesla says you could literally survive a military-grade bio attack by sitting in your car. This is the bioweapon defense mode that has been on the market since 2016. It recirculates cabin air through a HEPA filtration system, not unlike household air filter appliances that became popular during the pandemic. Bioweapon defense mode is not a marketing statement. It is real. Tesla promised when the system debuted, you could literally survive a military-grade bio attack by sitting in your car. We are seeing a photo of the Cybertruck that is peeking out of an enclosed trailer near Austin, Texas. So a close-up look at this truck, that's for sure. And as Sawyer Merritt says, like nothing else on the streets, a true rolling advertisement. And that's exactly what I've been saying this whole time. This thing is going to turn your heads, and you are going to say, what in the hell is that, if you don't know what the Cybertruck is. That's going to lead to a lot of brand recognition, a lot of sales for Tesla, for the Cybertruck, obviously, for the Model 3 as well as the Model Y, and even the SNX as well. Everything will benefit from the Cybertruck. Much the same way as everything else Tesla had going on. The S, X, and Model 3 benefited from the launch of the Model Y on March 13th, 2020. The next year, in 2021, you've seen deliveries grow year over year, about 85%. Analysts expecting 27% growth for next year is absurd. And that's why buying Tesla stock today can be so profitable in 2024. GM is still struggling to build EVs and sees margin growth ahead for Cruise. CFO says this is being reported to us from Reuters. It is published on Yahoo Finance. Jacobson said GM had built more than 1,000 Lyrics in July, still well below the company's initial expectations. GM in early 2022 said it expects to build 25,000 Lyrics at the company's Spring Hill, Tennessee plant last year, but fell far short of that target. In the first 6 months of this year, GM delivered fewer than 2,400 Lyrics to customers as it struggled with batteries and other issues. GM is building battery modules by hand. Jacobson pointed to its majority-owned Cruise automated vehicle operation as a bright spot as the unit enters a big phase of operational expansion, with more than 400 vehicles on the road. Cruise has largely solved all the technology challenges, Jacobson said, and is still targeting $1 billion in revenue in 2025 and growing margins as costs continue to come down. A little competition is exactly what Tesla needs in the autonomous vehicle sector. We all know Tesla's going to dominate, but competition creates better products, and it creates faster products. If Tesla sees Cruise really 400 vehicles out on the road, and they expect to 10 times this amount every year, well, Tesla really needs to get on level 4, level 5 full self-driving as fast as possible, so Tesla can deploy its robo-taxi network. We know Tesla's going to dominate once they do. Question is, how long does it take? And the more Cruise gets involved, and the more vehicles are out on the road, the more pressure Tesla has. So this is actually a good thing. GM has unveiled the all-electric Cadillac Escalade IQ. Starting price at $130,000, it offers a massive 200 kilowatt-hour battery, 450-mile range, 55-inch pillar-to-pillar LED screen, up to 40 speakers, 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, 720 horsepower, 8,000 pounds of towing, and production begins next summer. Good luck with that. Doesn't sound like production's gonna start next summer. GM can't even sell the vehicles that they are trying to sell this year as far as EVs. Look at what we just talked about, the Lyric. It's gonna be a very long time before GM gets some of these models to market. And the problem is, GM, Ford, these other players, they're trying to scale EVs so quickly that they're losing billions and billions of dollars. Tesla scaled their EV business over 10 years. So they were taking smaller losses at first and really got to work out all the kinks within the last, 10, 13 years now. And Tesla is where it is today because of those many years it was working things out. GM's just going to lose so much money on these vehicles, it's going to be a very long time before you see anything produced in mass numbers. Honda reported Wednesday that its April through June profit more than doubled on healthy sales of its motorcycles and cars, as the Japanese company also received a perk from favorable exchange rates. Honda Motors said its fiscal first quarter profit totaled 363 billion yen, 2.5 billion US dollars, up from 149 billion yen. Tesla still made more profits, even though they cut prices and are about to see record quarters of deliveries to come, not to mention last quarter's record delivery number. At the time of recording this video, Tesla's stock is trading at $245.40 per share, down 1.73% here on the day today on a very weak market. The Nasdaq tested the 50-day moving average today. Again, at the time of recording this video, there still is some time left of the trading day, so things could change. The situation could get worse by the end of the day, or the markets could continue to rally back and things could look better. But point in being, your 50-day moving average is a level we last tested as support back in March. Before then, you have to go back to January of 2023 before we ever came down and tested the 50-day moving average. And that's exactly what happened today. On the NASDAQ, your 50-day moving average is at $368.22. So you're about $1.20 away from that right now, and tomorrow's big catalyst is going to be the make it or break it moment for our markets. We don't have anything as far as big market moving data coming next week. So the data that we get tomorrow is going to be the main driver for the markets until we get Jerome Powell and Jackson Hole coming in about a week and a half. Tomorrow's CPI report, well, we're not expecting anything to really change on your month-over-month readings for core or headline. And your year-over-year core inflation number is expected to stay the same as last month. So just overall, not expecting things to get better, not expecting them to get worse. But your year-over-year headline number is expected to rise from 3% last month to 3.3%. If this number comes in higher than 3.5%, you're in for probably a 1.5% to 2% red day tomorrow. For the NASDAQ, could be slightly less for the S&P. If this number comes in at 3.1% or 3%, you're in for probably a similar move, 1.5% 2% to the upside. Now, specifically for Tesla, take into consideration what we've been saying. Tesla is going to do the market move times about 2 every single day. So the NASDAQ is down 0.70% currently, and Tesla stock is down is down 1.68%, almost exactly twice of the down move that we're seeing in the NASDAQ. So if we do move down 2% tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla drop 4 to 5%, vice versa. If we rally 2%, it wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla up 4 or 5% coming tomorrow. Tesla stock is flirting with a very important level, and that is $240 per share. If you do find support at $240, that's very positive. Today, you hit that low at $242.20 per share and bounced from there. You've bounced over $3 from that low so far on the day today. That is very encouraging. Now, all hell could break loose and we could fall through this level by the end of the day today. Even that's a possibility given how weak the markets are at the time of recording this video. Anything under 240 sets you up for a bigger drop down to about 220. That's why this is a pretty significant level. But again, if you're betting that Tesla will continue to fall, you're also making a bet that the broad markets will also continue to fall. So if you're not willing to make the bet that the markets are going to keep falling, then don't be willing to make the bet that Tesla continues to fall from here as well. If the NASDAQ did react negatively to the CPI report tomorrow and let's say drop 2% and Tesla drop 4.5%, that would put Tesla stock at about $235 per share. If you can get shares under 240, I strongly believe 3 to 6 months from now, you will look back and say, I should have done whatever I had to do to buy as many shares of Tesla as possible. Let me tell you right now, the day the Cybertruck starts deliveries, you want to be a Tesla investor. The day you get the first deal of licensing of full self-driving, you want to be a Tesla investor. When margins start to improve, you want to be a Tesla investor. When Tesla reaches level 4 autonomy, which could be right around the corner, you want to be a Tesla investor. Given where the estimates are, 27% volume growth for 2024, 29% EPS growth for 2024, there's a lot of room for analysts to be wrong. It's not like we're expecting great things from Tesla next year. You're expecting the worst growth rates in about 10 years for Tesla. I don't think that's going to happen on a year where Tesla is giving us a new product, which is the Cybertruck. I just think these estimates are full of crap, and I think a lot of you guys do as well. If you do, and you think Tesla's going to grow faster than 27% volume growth, 29% EPS growth, well, Tesla, easy money. This weakness in the markets could still be contributed to what Moody's did yesterday, and that was downgrading U.S. banks and warning of possible cuts to others. Some of these banks include Fifth Third Bank, U.S. Bank Corp, PNC, some of your largest banks in the US, certainly your largest regionals, being threatened of downgrades or getting downgraded. State Street, which manages over $1 trillion of investor money, of capital, these are huge downgrades. And the banking crisis is apparently not done yet. Credit card debt tops $1 trillion for the first time. That news came out yesterday, as well as the German economy. Looks like it's heading into a recession, with industrial production falling 1.5%. That also came out this week. Not to mention China. Their exports and imports fell at the most dramatic pace that you have seen since pre-COVID, and it's more of a sequential decline. It's just getting worse and worse from here. There's no let-up. In the news today as well, the Chinese economy is suffering from deflation. Deflation is actually worse than inflation. Believe that or not. And that's what you're seeing on all of these headlines of these articles. That is because the consumer price index fell 0.3% year on year in July, according to official statistics released on Wednesday. The producer price index, a gauge of prices of goods as they leave factory gates, was down 4.4% in July. This almost certainly means a recession is coming for China. If China has a recession, how do we avoid a recession? That's the real problem. And these charts show what Moody has been worried about with regional banks, including US Bank and Fifth Third. This chart, where the Fed funds rate continues to go higher, now at about 5.3%, and your median loan yield is 5.9%. They're almost underwater, and the median cost of deposits is also rising. This is no bueno for the banks, and potentially could be a problem down the line. We just seen WeWork almost at a point where they have to file for bankruptcy. WeWork was once valued at $40 billion as they own a lot of office and commercial real estate buildings. This could be the first domino. This could be our Evergrande moment, like Evergrande was in China. Far as Tesla's option activity today, you have seen 448 orders totaling $277.72 million today, positive order value of 51%, so pretty neutral overall. Short sellers are down 62% within the last 3 months, and the dollar amount that's currently sold short sits at $22.67 billion. So this is what you needed to know for this trading day. That is all of the news, and that is what is affecting our markets. Again, the big catalyst is tomorrow morning with CPI. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video. If you guys also want to come trade with us live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. We will welcome you with open arms. Most importantly, and I mean this, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.